guys, thanks for joining us on Leisure Life Live today. We've got something really fun. I'm Tana Jolly.
I'm Kelly Ryder.
And we are getting ready to show you resin pouring. And it is such a fun craft. A lot of people are doing it, but it has a lot of mystery attached to it too, I think. It's not enough people have done it, but it's
so
really, really easy.
Yeah, it's so much easier than you expect it to be.
So we're going to give away a kit today. We've got 4 different colors on leisurearts.com, and we'll talk through all of that as we do the demonstration, but we're going to give away a kit, and that has got enough resin in it to do one project, and we're also going to give away one surface. So again, we'll show you those as we go through, and but I wanted to give you a little bit of information about the contents of the kit. So it comes with the instruction book that tells you how to do each of these pieces we're going to show you. It's got the little pouring cups. It's got the epoxy resin and the hardener. It's got 3 colorants, so you can mix and match your colors. Stirring sticks, disposable gloves, because it's always good to wear gloves when you're working with chemicals, and a plastic sheet to cover your working surface.
This can be a messy craft.
Yeah, definitely. So Kelly is going to walk us through. She's already done some pre-mixing.
I have.
Which parts did you put together first?
You've got part A and part B and on the bottles here. So we've got part A, and you've got, each bottle makes 4 ounces. So there's an ounce of part A, and you want to pour it. I should put my gloves on, y'all. I forgot to put my gloves on. Let me pour this in here, and then I'll get my gloves on. And
looks a little like clear Karo syrup to me.
And I don't.
Are we making a cake?
Yes. I don't wear the gloves in the kit because of allergies. So.
But it does
I get these pretty pink ones.
It does come with gloves in the kit. So
I get these pretty pink gloves.
She's going to make sure she gets all of the parts.
Of it, because you don't want to waste it. So that's part A. And then we go ahead and we mix another ounce of part B with the little sticks that come with it.
Do the measuring cups have ounces on them, Kelly?
They do. They have ounces and milliliters and tablespoons.
So there's an easy way to measure your contents.
As you're stirring this, you can kind of see how it makes little threads. And you want to stir it until those go away.
It is almost like making candy.
Yes, it's exactly what it is, like Karo syrup.
Yep.
So you want to stir it real good. You want to avoid, pulling your stick in and out of the stuff because it will make bubbles.
That probably, I was just going to say, that lets air in there, doesn't it?
Yes.
Extra air. So, yeah,
and
keep your stick inside.
You're going to get some. That's just kind of the nature of it. Okay, so then, because I've got 3 colors, I've already done part of it, and I'm going to separate it so I have all 3 of these will have about the same amount in them. Let's stir it just a little bit more.
So all of those now are going to be equal parts of A and B.
Yeah.
You just did some pre-mixing.
I just did some pre-mixing.
Okay.
Because, how boring would it be to watch me sit there and stir?
Stir all 3 of those, that's true.
So then we've got all 3, and then we're going to do one. I chose to do the purple and the red kit. So I'm going to do 1 cup that'll have white colorant, 1 will have red, and 1 will have purple. And you can choose how vibrant you want your color by how much colorant you put in it. I like them to be real bright, so I use all of it. Because I want my white to be very opaque, and I want my purple to be dark, and I want my... See, and the white is really kind of pretty. It makes a pretty pearly pearl white.
Yeah, to give it good contrast when you put all your color in it, it gives it really good contrast.
Okay, we stir that up pretty good, and now we're going to go with the red. And the red you might not need quite as much.
And working with this resin, you can work on any kind of surface. You just have to be sure that you're working in a space where when you pour it over a flat surface and it runs over the edges, that you're clean enough, your space, because you're going to get some stuff, you're going to get the resin on your working space.
For sure.
So that's why you want to work in a space where you can clean everything up, because everything does run off of those flat surfaces.
You also want to have good ventilation.
Yes.
And then we'll go with the purple.
It's always good when you're working with this kind of stuff to have a little fan in the room, moving the air around, and have good ventilation.
See how nice and dark that purple gets? It's my favorite.
So as I said before, these kits come with a book, and it shows you how to work with the coasters. It shows you how to work with the. It gives you pouring instructions. It shows you how to do the tray, and we've got a couple of other things to show you when Kelly's finished.
Okay, so I'm choosing to do the tray on camera because it is the least messy. It's all contained inside and won't run off. In the book, it gives you hints and tips on how to hold things up so that they won't.
And if you want to paint your tray, you should paint your tray.
And let it dry real good.
Let it dry well before you start your pouring.
Right. And I chose to leave this one raw. But I'm going to start with purple, and I just simply start to pour it in here.
Look how much fun that is. That looks like fun already.
It's so easy, and it doesn't, I mean, you don't know what it's going to come out like. I'm going to be honest, you cannot control where this stuff is going to go. You can try, and if somebody figures that out, please
let us know.
Let me know.
Yeah, for sure. But it looks like a marble cake. We're going to make a marble cake, right?
Right.
Again, back to baking.
And then I'm going to go with the white. And our white is kind of a clear white.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have shaken that colorant up enough.
Yeah, that's the other tip that Kelly, that we probably need to let you know, is you need to shake your colorant boxes, bottles before you get started, to make sure that none of the pigment has settled to the bottom.
And it may have, and that is why that white isn't quite as
It's
white.
pretty clear.
It's pretty clear. Now this is the fun part. We just get to...
Ooh, it's pretty already. Look at that.
We just kind of let it run and cover the areas.
Like getting those brownies to cover the bottom of the pan.
And we, you know, and another tip, and we should have pulled one out and did not, but you can use a heat gun to kind of push
the color around.
Push the color around, and it also will help. I'm going to pull this away from you for just a sec.
So like a hairdryer?
A hairdryer, but like a scrapbooking heat gun is the best.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So the more you move it around, the more it's going to change.
So can you take your craft sticks and move your color around? Does that help?
You can, and it just kind of, see how it'll drag some of the colors into the areas?
Right.
And the way resin works is you can pull it, it's going to self-level.
Right, it's gonna fill in the gaps itself. So there's, as you said, there's not much control.
And another fun thing you can do in your extras is you can take your stick and you can.
So as it sets up, Kelly, does it become easier to control the liquid?
No, it will continue to move until it completely dries. So this looks like this right now, but when we come in tomorrow morning, it will have changed some. And we
so
can,
it settles?
Yes. And we can post a picture tomorrow maybe.
Of what it looks like. That'd be great.
It takes a good 24 hours to dry. But that was pretty quick, wasn't it? Pretty quick.
So let's see. Let's move it around some more. I
don't have a straw.
Oh, look at the separations in the bubbles here.
Yep.
That's really pretty. I like that.
So you can continue. You've got about 30 to 40 minutes maybe
of time that you can work with it to move it.
Yeah.
So even if you're cooking and you got to go and look at something in the oven, you can come back and move it around a little bit.
A little.
Does it move more slowly as time progresses?
Yes, and it will not mix as well as time progresses.
Okay, so it goes in clumps.
Yeah.
So I see that the purple is moving kind of all together.
Yep, and you know what we're going to do? Because I want some purple down in that corner.
Let's use the stick.
And we're going to put some down there. We're going to...
There you go. That might be a reason why you want to leave a little bit of the resin in your cup.
Well, even when you think you have all of the resin out of your cup, there's going to be a little in there.
Right. So maybe if you don't pour everything down in there all at once, you might have a little bit more control if you pour some in after, right?
Yes, for sure. And you can do white first, you can do red first. It's all going to be different every single time.
So if you put the white on top of that stuff after the red and the purple have been on there, will the white sit on top, or is it gonna?
Nope.
It's gonna blend in.
It'll blend.
Okay.
It'll blend in, and if I'd have stirred it better, we'd have more. It'd be more opaque.
Yeah, I understand completely. I'm just I'm a newcomer to the craft.
Yeah.
Just the first time I've seen this demonstration.
It's very cool. I kind of like the way it looks right there.
It is. It's really pretty.
I do want to drag this just a little.
And we've got it like a little indention here. Is that a bubble?
Yep. And it will pop itself out eventually. That's another thing that the heat gun will help that. With a project this small, though, it's typically not a big problem. You want to make sure it's semi-warm.
When you're doing it?
You don't want it to get cold. The colder it is, the...
So, for instance, if you have if you're in an air-conditioned room and there's air moving, it's not going to set up as well?
No, and you want to make sure also when you set it to dry that it's on a flat surface. Otherwise, because it's self-leveling, it will...
It's going to tilt.
Yes.
So you're not going to be happy with how it settles. It'll settle into one corner, for instance. So it'll be thicker in one side than it will on the other. Cool.
Yes, for
Those
sure.
are great tips. Do you have any other tips? I know that we have one of these that the back of it had some bubbles on the back. I think that one right there.
Probably.
There's some taping off that we should do.
Well, okay, on
See the bubbles?
See the bubbles? Because it's dripping, it's going to do that. And if this happens, you can sand it. Make sure you sand it in a real ventilated area. You can sand it off with your palm sander or just sandpaper. To avoid that, though, we did that on these, and see, no runoff. I just simply put painter's tape around the edges.
That helps a lot.
And
That's a great tip.
Now, it'll start to set up. Let it set up just a little bit, but before it's completely dry, you want to pull that tape off. Otherwise,
it's stuck to it.
Yeah, it's permanent.
Yeah.
But
that's also a good tip.
So a cool thing is these coasters. There's two over there and here. When I did these, I set them up like this, and I just did this on all of them. And see how different they all look? I did the same thing on all of them, and they're very different from each other. Which I think is cool. I like that.
Well, and this is the same kit.
Yes.
Just a different concentration.
Yep. This has more of a, I put more color in this one.
So that came from...
This one right here.
And what's the color?
It's pink and gold.
Pink and gold. So you can see how different those colors can turn out based on how much of each you pour in.
Yes. So like this is the purple and red like I did there. See how dark mine is? This one had more white in it.
Right.
And maybe you don't want...
And here's another purple and red.
Right. Maybe you don't want as much purple, so don't mix as much purple resin.
Right.
Make more white.
Right.
So the four colors we have are the purple and gold, the pink and gold, the blue and gold, and then the purple and red, which is quite
the one that
striking.
we just mixed.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So the surfaces that we have are the round
That round
cutting board and the rectangle cutting board and the tray. And the tray comes with 3 coasters.
Comes with four
coasters. Okay.
Like
so if when we're doing a giveaway today, again with comments, do we have any comments, Mark?
Is there purple and gold? Is that
Yes.
that first kit right there?
It is the first one.
Purple and gold and white.
LSU colors, Ellen.
All right.
No.
Well, there are lots and
Yes.
lots of things you can do with these kits.
Yes.
Lots of different ways you can cover the whole cutting board and use it as something to hang in your kitchen. You can do a couple of coasters, give them as gifts. There's lots of different ways that you can use these. I will show you this table that we did, this cute little white table here. And Kelly worked really hard when she made this. And she put some additives in the blue and gold kit.
Yes, there's some, we added some glitter into the gold resin.
Into the resin.
And then these are actually glass chunks.
Can you see the depth on those?
Yeah, there's glass chunks in there. And it's, this is technically, it's called a geode.
So these were this was just a little coffee table, a little side table to sit beside your chair. And it had just a little lip. And any lip that is probably more than a half an inch is going to hold your resin in. So you can use you can use the top of a treasure box. You can use a tray, just about anything.
You could do a frame.
Yep, you could do a frame. Because I've seen a lot of frames that are sort of beveled.
Yeah. That
you could do the whole frame and then put a really nice picture in it.
It would be really cool to do the inside of like a shadow box. And
then, that's a great
after
idea.
It's dry, you can put your stuff in it. It'd be really pretty. And that's
so
your
these kits come with everything you need to do a project, and then you have to buy the surface, whatever surface you choose, or maybe you've got something at home that you want to try it on.
And you don't have to do it on wood. It can be done on other.
So it will work on metal.
It will.
Okay, cool. Does it take longer to set up?
Probably.
Yeah. Because it's not as porous, so the drying time is a little different.
And really, you want it, another tip, especially if you live in a dusty area.
Control the dirt.
As it's drying, you might want to cover it with a box upside down just to keep the dust, because anything that settles on that surface is permanent.
How's it moving now, Kelly? Move it around some more. Yeah, see how much slowly it's starting to move already?
Is it food safe?
Yes and no. I would not cut on it. I think you could serve on it, but I would say
I wouldn't
cut on it. Yeah. I would put something underneath your food, whether it be a plate or a wax
resin
paper
is a chemical product.
It is a chemical.
We can't guarantee. So it really is decorative. It's meant for things that you set something on and to decorate with.
You could take somebody breakfast in this tray.
Oh, absolutely.
I just wouldn't put my eggs straight on the resin.
On the tray.
You might want to put them on a plate.
Yeah, that's a good And I like breakfast in bed. That's a really good idea.
Well, I know. I've decided I wanted to buy one of those trays that have the legs that flip down. Because you know how they have that lip on them.
Oh,
I want one of those, and I want to do it in colors that match my bedroom.
That would be perfect.
That way,
and
it
then
can be
someone
a
would
subtle
be
hint.
encouraged to bring you breakfast.
It'll be a subtle hint.
Have we got any questions,
you can bring
Mark?
me breakfast.
My niece is 9. Looks like we could do this? Question mark. Yeah.
Absolutely.
With adult supervision.
Yes. And she would love it. I'm certain.
Oh yeah.
Because watching that liquid mixed together, it's kind of like slime. Kids love that stuff.
Well. Their paint pouring was cool. I like this better.
It moves a little slower.
Yeah.
It's messier because if you get it on something, it's stickier. But
it doesn't. You don't get the cells and the bubbles like you do in paint pouring. I imagine you could if you were to put an oil or something in there, but then you run the risk of it not curing properly. So I would stick with.
But I think the idea of adding things to this is really a cool idea.
Glitter.
So, if you go to the beach and your kids pick up shells.
Sand.
If they pick up sand, if they pick up little rocks, whatever, a starfish. That to me would be very cool to make something that you could, seal it in resin and you've got a keepsake.
Well, especially with this blue and gold.
It'd be really pretty
ocean
in that.
Anyway, and if you put some shells and some sand down in the corner.
Right. That'd be really cool.
It'd be a wonderful keepsake.
Yeah.
And Georgina says this would be great in a jewelry box.
Absolutely.
See? Yeah. Jewelry box. Make a really pretty top or bottom
make
for
some jewelry.
Well, we are going to do that next. We've got a book working, and we're going to make some kits. So in early 2020, That is what year it's coming up, right? In early
Right around the
2020.
corner.
I know that sounds funny, but we're gonna work on some jewelry kits, so you guys can have that to look forward to. I did want to tell you that we're not gonna do live for the next couple of weeks.
Because of the
Holidays, but we are going to have Teach Me Tuesdays. So if you've been following Teach Me Tuesdays, we've got some great instructional materials. So check on those. And we'll be back live on the 9th of January. And this group of projects sort of ties in with what we're doing in January, because we're going to talk about being good to yourself, slowing down a little bit after the holidays.
So why not make yourself a
And
project?
make something for yourself, you know, pick the colors that make you happy and make a project just for you.
I like that idea.
Yeah. So we got any more questions?
Yeah, Tracy has an interesting tip. You can use baby wipes and rubbing alcohol to clean up spilled resin.
Yes, you
Sounds like a
can.
pro.
Alcohol
Nice.
is about the only thing that will keep the sticky away.
Well, and Kelly was telling me that there were some bubbles in her table.
There were.
And she worked them out a certain way. How did you do that?
I actually sanded them out. I sanded them with a Dremel tool, to be honest, and I just sanded them and cleaned it really good, and then I poured
Another layer of resin across
clear
the top.
over the top. And if you look real close, you can see them, but
It sounds to me like this is a craft
It's
that
pretty
you can fix. If you make a mistake, you can fix it.
You can.
And that's really always good about a craft that you have never done before,
Yes.
that you're a little intimidated by, but you see everybody doing it, and it's really cool.
see, this is already changing and moving, even though I wasn't moving it. I'm going to move it some more.
Come on, let's see what happens. And this is another tray that's really pretty too. Wow. And see, now we've got that end is a little bit deeper because of the way you turned it, but it'll come back.
It'll come back. And it'll come back slowly, and tomorrow it'll look like something completely different.
Wow.
I do think we should take a picture of it tomorrow and post it.
We will. We'll take a picture when we're done with the live today, and we'll have when we finish live photo and how it looked in the morning photo to show you guys.
I think that's a
How
good
long
idea.
does it typically take to cure?
I would give it completely 3 days. After 24 hours, you can touch it. I wouldn't put anything heavy on it, like a glass.
It's gonna
or-
indent.
It'll indent.
Yeah.
3 days is what I would give it.
How thick does it set? Do you?
Well, this is quite thin.
It depends on how much resin you use.
Yeah, this is only going to be about 1/8 of an inch, so this will dry fairly quickly.
So from the contents of this kit, you're probably going to be about a 16th. I would say about a 16th of an inch thick.
Yeah, between a 16th and an 1/8.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough to cover the bottom of this tray.
But you can pour resin in any product that, if you go and buy resin and mix the parts
Absolutely.
and really get involved in it, you can pour it to any thickness you want.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, what they're doing
They'll layer
now is taking countertops and making grooves in them,
They look
and
so
then
neat.
pouring them to make it look like a river. Or I mean, they're really doing some beautiful stuff with resin now.
I want to do the table.
Yeah. Tables look really, really great. And you know, this craft has been around for a really long time.
it has.
Because if you've ever gone to one of those old country diners and you've seen the tops of those tables
With the-
that have the advertisements
Yes,
underneath,
that's all it is.
this is those advertisements underneath a clear layer of resin.
Or like the bottle caps. You've
Yes,
seen that?
yes.
Or I've seen somebody did it with pennies on a bar top.
So this is the reinvented craft
Absolutely.
that's been
It's-
around a really long time.
Yeah.
So
And clear, you can layer it. You can let this dry and put down something and then pour clear over the top of it, and it's there forever.
we're really glad that you guys joined us today. And thanks for the questions. And we hope everyone has a really, really great, happy holiday season. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we'll see you in January.
Bye.
Bye, guys.